Welcome to the Wednesday, May 13th edition of the Day Weather Podcast. Typical May weather's coming through Saturday. That's kind of the headline today. Over the next 4 days, it's going to be average everything. High and low temperatures will be close to average over most of the region, and we're looking at average May weather, which means a steady dose of Pacific moisture is going to lead to some showers and thunderstorms, especially along and east of the divide, especially for Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, western South Dakota, and Nebraska, and the northern half of Colorado. That area I just outlined is going to have good chances over the next 3 to 4 days for showers and thunderstorms with near average temperatures. There's going to be a big jump in temperatures on Sunday. We've got a big warm-up coming next week. We are going to be looking at temperatures soaring beginning on Sunday, and this is going to really kick off the runoff. Now, the runoff in Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, parts of northern Colorado has been steady but slow. But we're going to see a lot of water coming out of the mountains next week and the week after that. We might very well, folks, finally be there, at least with what we're seeing here over the next 2 weeks, of being warmer and not seeing any big outbreak of cold. That doesn't mean there still won't be chances for colder, wet weather, and even some more chances of mountain snow. In fact, I know we're going to see more mountain snow before the month of May is over, but we are finally, I think, maybe getting over a hump late this weekend and next week. Here's the jet stream pattern as we are right now. Here we are with the upper level winds coming in a very westerly fashion off the Pacific coast, and this is going to bring warmer air to the entire country. A warm-up coming with milder Pacific air. When the jet stream moves west to east across the country, normally your temperatures end up being very close to average when they're west to east like that. Later on, as we take a look at the forecast, as we go into the precipitation chances through Saturday, this is what it looks like. That steady stream of moisture will be producing showers and thunderstorms along and north of this line especially, with a pretty good throw of moisture over a 4-day period. Now, the heaviest moisture will be associated with the thunderstorms that are likely going to break out here. But just use this as a guide. Wherever you see green, blue, or yellow, the likelihood of getting wet is pretty good. The amounts are going to vary widely. But over the next 4 days, in these areas where you see shaded in color, there's a good chance you're going to get some nice spring moisture. By Sunday, look how things change. We go from a very flat jet stream to one that has more dips and rises and falls. And as we go into the weekend, we see this big low off the west coast, pumping up a big ridge of high pressure. And here is the air trajectory now into Wyoming and Colorado, Montana and South Dakota, Nebraska and Kansas. It's coming from the desert states. A big area of high pressure builds in Sunday. And what'll happen is this guy here just kind of stays off the west coast, pumping in some really warm air. And look at this tongue of warm air this is by Tuesday. This is why you really pay close attention to where your air masses are coming from. So when we see the flow from that low off the west coast, the counterclockwise spin around this low pumps in the desert air right into here. So that tongue of warmth goes all the way to Hudson Bay. So this is a big warm-up that's coming. So like someone turning on a light switch, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, temperatures are going to soar. These are the 10 days ahead of us. This takes us through next Friday. Notice the light orange and yellow here. That means on the whole, the next 10 days in the orange and yellow areas will have average temperatures that will be above normal. In stark contrast to the last week to 10 days, notice how much of the lower 48 warms up. Not real warm, but relatively speaking, a big warm up from where we've been. We still have some stubborn cold up here in Canada, but even this cold pocket is going to be fading. By next Wednesday, that low that was off the west coast here this weekend and early next week kind of moves in and weakens a bit. You can see it's not nearly as strong. We still have a southerly flow ahead of it, but we're going to see a big area of shower and thunderstorm activity develop here the middle of next week with this trough right here coming on through. But behind it, we have a westerly flow again coming on in. So it's not a terribly cold system that's coming in the middle of next week, and temperatures are still going to stay warm. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. We finally got some consistently warmer weather coming, folks. Just got to get through the next 3 to 4 days.